Hello everyone, welcome back to another great episode of Rehana's Cuisines. Today we're going to be making Chana Bateta. Now Chana Bateta is, I'll show you they're black chickpeas, or they're called kala chanas, which is, they're desi chickpeas, they're black. They look like that. The garbanzo beans are like white. These are the black chickpeas. And for this recipe, you have to use the black chickpeas, and that's what we've been making it with. What you want to do with this is you want to soak them overnight. Make sure that the water is, like if this is what you're soaking, you want to make sure the water is over the chickpeas, and then add about a teaspoon of baking soda in it. Mix it and leave it. And what that will do is the next morning they're going to boil faster. Otherwise it takes a while for them to boil. So I have about 2.5 cups of chana, which is the black chickpeas. I have about 1.5 cups of boiled potatoes that I just put on the stove, peeled it and cut it bite-sized pieces. While I'm talking, I'm also going to turn my stove on so we can get going. We're going to be using some olive oil here, and I have some mashed potatoes here. We're going to use this to thicken the gravy of the Chana Bateta. And the gravy is not really thick. It's just where, it's like a soup consistency. And we're gonna have a good amount of gravy because we're supposed to eat that with like fritters. And I have a video of that. I'll put the link up there. You can eat it with like cassava chips, potato chips, chevro, and I have done a video of chevro too. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the 2 tablespoons or 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and that's the only olive oil that we're going to be adding. That's it. Now let me go ahead quickly while this is warming up. I'm going to show you what ingredients we're going to use. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. We're going to use about a little bit less than 1/2 cup of the tamarind. Now make sure that this tamarind I got from an Asian store, and it doesn't have any sugar in it. So if you're planning to use any other kind, if you're buying bottled chutney or whatever, you just keep in mind that that stuff is sweet. It's got sugar or jaggery in it, so it will transform this recipe into a little bit of sweetness in it. We're going to add a teaspoon of mustard seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, about 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of crushed red peppers. I've got 7 to 8 curry leaves, and then we have some chopped cilantro that we're going to use for garnishing. So I think my oil is really nice and hot. I'm going to add my mustard seeds and my cumin in there, and as soon as it starts popping, like I'll just hear 1 or 2. There you go. And I'm going to add my curry leaves in there. We're going to stir this just a little bit and just wait for those mustard seeds to pop just a little more. Then we'll add the red peppers. And when you add the red peppers, just make sure that you work a little fast, because the red peppers, it burns very quickly. And if you hear that sound in the back, that is the water that is getting hot that we're going to need for our gravy. So in goes the 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm just going to start mixing it because I don't want the peppers to burn. Second tablespoon of tomato paste. Now, you can add some tomato sauce in there if you like, but I find that the tomato paste, cooking the tomato paste a little bit, just will thicken the gravy. And so it's really preference. I've had people tell me that, they like adding the tomato sauce, and some don't. So it doesn't really alter the taste. So it's really up to you. The other couple ingredients that are optional are ginger and garlic, or just ginger you can add. And there was one more, and I lost my thought. So if I remember, I'm going to let you know. Oh yeah, turmeric. That's also very optional to use. I don't use it. I think it just the tomato paste gives it the color that I really don't need to add any turmeric in there. Now, You want to cook this until it's just like maroon in color, so you know that your tomato paste is cooked well. When the tomato paste is raw, it gives this really, it's a different taste that it gives out, and it just ruins the dish. So just make sure that you cook it for about 2 minutes. And now I warmed up my water just so that the video goes quicker. So added the water in here. We're just gonna mix it. Now water, I can't tell you how much I'm putting in there because really it depends on how thick you want your gravy. So you just want to add little by little. Don't add a whole bunch at one time because then you're gonna have a watery mess. Okay? Just because I think my gravy is still pretty thick. Okay? So at this point, I still will have to add a little bit more in there. But let's go ahead and add our chickpeas in here. And this is where it's going to tell you how much more water you're going to need in there, because then you're going to see the consistency. Now see, this is more like a curry. So we don't want that. We want to lighten this up a bit more. So in goes more water. So see now the consistency is where you have a bit more liquid in there. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna add the potatoes in here, and again we're gonna see. Just gonna add just a little bit more. Okay, I think now I'm getting that. See how I just want you to see. You'll be able to see that it's not completely watery, but it's also not too much water in there, but just the right amount of water in here. So I'm gonna heat up the stove a little more. In goes my concentrated tamarind, and that also depends on, add a little first, give it a taste test and see how you like yours, tart or not. Now you know that we kind of like, my husband likes food a little bit more tart, so I add more in there. So just make sure before you add a little, and then keep on adding as you give it a taste test. Also, if you want it spicy, you can go ahead and add green chutney. You can go ahead and add crushed serrano or jalapeno peppers. You can even cut them in bite-sized pieces and put them in there. But as you all know, I don't eat very much spicy food, so I'm gonna omit that. I'm not gonna make it very spicy. I think the red peppers it has in there is just about enough for me. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more water, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to add a little bit of my mashed potatoes in here to thicken up the gravy. So, and again, I can't give you a certain measurement because just add a little at a time. You can add white flour and a mixture of white flour and water, and you can add that if you like. But for certain dishes like gravies and stuff, I love using mashed potatoes. It's such a natural thickener. I think it's just perfect instead of, and sometimes when you add the white flour in there, you know, I am so sensitive to taste that I can tell that the white flour is still not cooked enough. So that's why I usually use the potato flakes in there. And okay, so do you see how it got thicker? See when you know, it's quite thicker than before, and as it cooks, it's gonna get more and more thicker. So I'm gonna increase my heat. Now we're gonna do a taste test because we have to make sure that the taste is awesome, and you want to taste all your food no matter what it is, because to serve something that doesn't have enough salt and the taste in it, it's just, now it has a little taste in it, but I still am not satisfied. So the amount of chili is perfect in there. I'm not going to add more chili. I'm just going to add a little bit more salt, and again a little bit more tamarind. And I love this tamarind. I am going to be doing a video of tamarind chutney soon, and this is what I use for it. I just use this in brown sugar, but I'll still do a video. I did a video of how to make coconut chutney, and I'll post it at the same time as this recipe so you guys can make it together. Very, very easy, very, very simple. Excuse me, I have a really bad cough. All right, so at this point, I'm going to give it a taste test again. It's definitely getting there. I think that's about enough. Okay, so now you want to have it boil a couple times or just once, and you will know it's ready when you start seeing oil that's gonna start floating a little bit on top, which I think it's getting there. I can see a little bit of it floating up there. See how it's shining on the side? So when you get that, you know that your chana bateta is ready. So I'm gonna show you how. I don't have any potato chips at home right now, so I'm not gonna be using any potato chips, but the way I serve it at our house is take a good amount, ladle it in there. Okay, I'm gonna add some fresh cilantro. That's gonna go right on top, just like that. And then I have some fritters here, and these are okay. Now I'm going to take my green chutney, and that goes on top of that. And I tell you, this is amazing. Stuff is amazing. So easier way to do this would be boil some chickpeas, stick them in a freezer. Whenever you want to make it, take out a little and start. So here, let's just take a look at this real quick. Can you see that there's oil starting to form on the top? That's perfect. That's how we know that, you know, our chana bateta is done. This is great for picnics too, because if you're going for a picnic, this is perfect to serve because it can be served cold or hot. I like all my food hot, but it can be served cold too. And then with the crunchy fritters or the crunchy potato chips or the chevro. So I've done a video of chevro, which is a chex mix, which is something like this, and you can add a little bit of that on top, and it gives that crunch. It's absolutely amazing. So you guys have to give this a try. Leave me a comment, like my Facebook page. I have Rihanna's Cuisines Facebook page. I'm also on Twitter, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram. And you can leave me a comment underneath, and I will try and get back to your comments within 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I'm telling you, every week we have a new video coming out, and lots of really great videos coming. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Rihanna's Cuisines. Hope you can join me here next time with another great video, and I'm dying to try this. Oh. So good. Try it. See you later.